menलाई भन्न चाहन्छु that they need to empower their women. They need to empower their daughters. They need to empower their moms because they should not just be confined within the households. They should not be limited just by that. Women will willingly take those leadership roles. I've seen a lot of women leave the leadership roles voluntarily because they feel like they are risking their responsibility about taking care of their family when they take. So there were a lot of unlearning that I had to do. For example, to speak up, to be in the forefront, to interrupt and talk, to be a louder speaker. These are all these taboos that society puts on girls, especially growing up. I still enjoy a lot solving problems, challenging problems. AI is not something that just that was just born out of blue in 2 years or 3 years. It's something that has had its own course starting all the way back from 50s. I've always been somebody who's always felt the sense of belonging whenever I come back to Nepal, and that sense of belonging I cannot find anywhere else in this world. So definitely there is that a longing to come back or give back to this country. I'm Rosha Pokharel. I am an AI technology leader. I have been in the space of AI machine learning for about 15 years now. And I've started all the way back from academia, starting from my PhD, where I did my PhD in the area of machine learning and built myself as data scientist over the course of years, and then eventually transitioned into an AI technology leader. Currently running my own company as a founder. My company's name is SolvDat. It's an AI consulting company. Apart from my technical career, I also run a nonprofit organization. It's a US 501c3 nonprofit organization called Timro Suraksha Hamro Kartabya. And यसको goal चाहिँ we raise awareness about child sexual abuse in our communities. And we really want to create a safe space for our kids to learn and grow. Apart from all of that, I'm also a mom of 2 amazing kids. And I love bedtime stories with them, and I love being a role model for them. They know. I went to America 2009. So I come from a highly academic family. My dad did his PhD back in the 80s from United States. And his saying used to be that I want to have all the doctors in my house. And whenever somebody calls me and says, Dr. Sablai Pauna, then I would have to ask, Kunte doctor. So we are 3 siblings, and that was always something that he would tell us. So growing up, it was always an idea that I would go to the US, follow his footsteps, and do PhD in something. So PhD was more like a something to get done, and then you move on to your life. अनि त्यही सिलसिलामा चाहिँ I finished my undergrad from Kathmandu University, and then my brother was already living there, so I went there to pursue my education. त्यसबाटै सुरु भएको हो. Then I directly applied for PhD from my undergrad and got a scholarship. And that's where it started. त्यो चाहिँ मैले यो pre-planned थिएन when I started my PhD. I did my undergrad from Kathmandu University. I chose engineering line because it was a technical line, and my dad always used to say, okay, if you choose an engineering line, then you can always divert to something else. Medicine ma ta janu milदैन, but whatever you want to do, MBA or anything else, you can always do it. भन्ने थियो. So that was a safer choice for me when I decided that I want to go for electrical and computer engineering. And also I followed my brother's footstep. He's also an engineer in the same space. अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ then PhD को जब कुरा आयो, then it was more of who's the best professor that I can go with, who can give me the scholarship, who has the fundबाट सुरु भयो, and that also I wanted to be in the safer space, so I went with electrical and computer engineering because that was my background and that's where I could prosper. I knew that. So that's where I got my fellowship, and that's where it started. But fortunately, I was lucky to be under the guidance of a professor who has written several books in neural nets. Ani neural nets is one of the major areas in AI machine learning earlier, and so that's where it started. And I have always been a highly data driven person, a mathematical person. I loved solving mathematical problems always, since my school days. So it was like naturally I was drawn towards solving maths equations and designing these algorithms. So eventually it happened that whatever work I was doing happened to be in the space that was highly focused in machine learning. So I designed machine learning algorithms in a complex space, high dimensional space. And back then, there wasn't a notion called um, like machine learning was kind of picking its days back in 2011, 12. Convolutional neural network, image processing चाहिँ एकदमै हाइप भइरहेको थियो होइन. डिप न्युरल नेटवर्कको कुराहरू निस्किरहेको थियो. लाइक वाट इज डिप नेट्स भन्ने कुराहरू निस्किरहेको थियो. People had not really ideally defined that it was. So that was the time when I started exploring that space and eventually finished my dissertation. When I graduated, that was the time when data science was booming and big data was booming. And the year I graduated, I was fortunate to actually land a job of a data scientist. I was one of very few data scientists, um, one of the early batches of data scientists, but nobody knew what data scientists were supposed to do back then. So that's where it started. It wasn't like I wanted to be in the AI and therefore I studied that. It just that fortunately, whatever I did, it just felt like I was in the right place at the right time. So मैले स्टार्ट गर्दाखेरि मेरो करियर इन्डस्ट्रीमा स्टार्ट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अगेन आई किप थिङ्किङ द्याट आई ह्यापन टु बी एट द राइट प्लेस द राइट टाइम. किन भन्दाखेरि एज सुन एज आई ग्रेजुएटेड आई स्टार्टेड एज अ डेटा साइन्टिस्ट एट वेदर कम्पनी, weather.com च्यानल छ नि जुन. त्यो weather कम्पनीमा when I started as a data scientist, my job was initially to design machine learning models, neural network models, and put it into production. And that model could actually predict um, how much load power would be needed in a particular utility area. हुन्छ नि अनि त्यो नै मेरो फर्स्ट जब आउट अफ स्कुल थियो होइन, after grad school. And that got acquired by IBM. And eventually that department happened to come under Watson, IBM Watson. And then eventually I moved into, senior roles and started designing end-to-end AI products that could do more predictions. Outage predictions was the other bigger product, Watson product, that I was able to design and operationalize and have multiple client engagements globally for IBM. So that's where it started, IBM coaching. And then after that, I was kind of bored. I figured I wanted to get into leadership roles. After being a lead data scientist, I figured like I want to understand how the management works. So that's where I decided to leave IBM for healthcare industry, because at that time healthcare industry मा चाहिँ even now US को healthcare industry, there's still there's a lot of opportunity in terms of using latest technology. So at that time it was like a green space, and I just bumped into this opening. So they were looking for a lead data scientist at a healthcare company called Centene Corporation. It is still a Fortune 25 company. And they were just starting their journey in data science. And I figured, okay, so I've done so much in the ULIT space. Maybe it's time for me to explore that space. And there's a lot of opportunity for my growth as a leader, because then I can bring a lot of value as a somebody who has done AI at IBM. So that's where I moved to Centene, and then within a matter of a year, I was able to convince stakeholders and senior leaders that we need to actually start a journey for Centene in AI. And I found sponsors who had sponsored my idea and a lot of support. And we eventually built a team of about 11 individuals in a matter of a year. And in a matter of a year, I transitioned into a manager, machine learning manager, and grew that department, and eventually became AI director for that company. But the team, it was a 50-member department. So that transition from a lead data scientist to manager to director happened within a matter of 3 years. And then I left that, and I left that for another role because again I felt like I was bored because I wanted to explore something else. So then I took a role of head of AI for data event. You would say it's a $1 billion company. It's a very fast growing company. It's also a healthcare company. So that's how I kind of transitioned from uh, data scientist to leadership roles. I still enjoy a lot solving problems, challenging problems. They know. You companies, I registered it only last year, so it's less than a year old. And SolvDat is currently I'm running it as an AI consulting company, and I'm taking consulting gigs through this. Um, and so the goal of this company is to, first of all, support and lead the AI journey for businesses, several businesses, small to medium scale businesses. Because now is the time where a lot of companies are trying to get into their AI journey, and I think it's a great opportunity for experts to help them navigate that space. So that's the primary goal. And how we do that is by first helping them with AI strategy that can actually drive value. The second is helping them build AI solutions and technologies that is catered to their own problem space. And third is by mentoring and nurturing their own internal skills or helping them retrieve the best talents so that they can continue in their AI journey. And we are very much value driven. And we ensure that whatever problem statement that we touch or help them through the discovery, we ensure that it's highly value driven and it's viable, feasible, usable at the end of the day. It's exciting. It's exciting. But it's also, I think, at times it was also annoying. I'll be very honest. Uh, because AI is not something that just, you know, uh, that was just born out of blue in 2 years or 3 years. It's something that has had its own course starting all the way back from 50s. I know. And so when it boomed, it's exciting that people started using it and started getting a lot of value out of it. But it's also annoying and scary at the same time because annoying because people may not have understood the true potential and true risks behind it, and there are a lot of people are jumping in the bandwagon thinking that it can actually drive value at places it may not, and it can be a lot of effort sink and resource sink in that case. And risky or scary because there may not be enough education going around what could be the cons of this. Because it's ultimately it's a matter of data, and how do we secure the data? How do we secure the details of individuals that could come into risk because this somebody might be misusing the AI models or misusing the data that they fed into these models. So in that case, it's risky, and I think there's a long way to go to build a good governance model to ensure that there are all the safety and risk-free decisions. That's a great question. There's a lot to say in that. Um, कस्तो भयो भने I figured I had to unlearn a lot of things. Mm, Irrespective of what kind of family you were born into, there's this societal norms and basically societal norms that one has to abide by while you grow up in Kathmandu or in Nepal. It's fortunately I grew up in Kathmandu. तर अरू प्लेसेसमा त there's even more in Nepal. So there were a lot of unlearning that I had to do. For example, to speak up, to be in the forefront, to interrupt and talk, हुन्छ नि, to be a louder speaker. These are all these taboos that society puts on girls, especially growing up. Um, so in that regard, I had to unlearn those things and challenge myself to kind of reject those norms. That's one. The second one is in general everywhere. I feel like whether it's Nepal or US or Europe, I cannot speak so much about Europe. But speaking about US and Nepal, I think women leadership in general it's very tough to make a space for women at the leadership table because of how the expectations for women has been set. Women have been expected to be mom, wives, best moms, best caretakers, and that's how everybody has put that expectation on women. So there's a lot of baggage or burden and responsibility on their shoulders. And then on top of that, if you say that, yeah, I'm going to take a responsibility of this entire department, of this entire team, and then move forward with it, it's just one more burden. So I feel like that is a very common thing that is not just here, there also. And with that, it's very difficult to create a space at the leadership table. And even the organizationally also, I think there's a long way to go for organizations also to figure out how to create that kind of an opportunity that women will willingly take those leadership roles. I've seen a lot of women leave the leadership roles voluntarily because they feel like they are risking their, responsibility about taking care of their family when they take on those roles. So challenges are those are the kind of challenges I've seen. And how I overcome that is I think I have had an amazing support system at home through my husband. I would go for meetings every month and disappear for days, and he would take care of my kids, and I didn't have to think once or twice about it. So that and immense encouragement morally and emotionally from my parents. I think all of those have played very well together. In addition to that, my mentors who have supported me all along the way and given me that extra lever to push through, I think that also makes a very big difference. I think यसमा चाहिँ हामीले we have to segment it into US healthcare and which is where I have a lot of experience in, and then the US पछि अब नेपालको हेल्थकेयरको कन्टेक्स्ट आउँछ होइन. So speaking of the US healthcare sector, say, uh, as I said earlier, there's a lot of opportunity in the US healthcare operations. That's where my area of expertise and experience is. Healthcare operations spaceमा USमा चाहिँ there's a lot of opportunity to use cutting edge technology and improve the operations, save a lot of time, save a lot of funds, and provide a better care and response time to members and providers. There's a lot of opportunity there, not just AI, but a lot of new technology in terms of data management and security. Um, in addition to AI. Now, speaking of AI itself, I think AI could also be that leapfrog technology that can take US healthcare from where it is to the next step where it can be actually using, uh, you know, m- it can eventually be much more efficient. I don't know if you're how much you're aware about the healthcare system in the US. There's a lot of hurdle that a patient has to go through when they have to even get an appointment from specialist or do some diagnosis. There's a lot of timing that gets spent uh, when they wait for their claims to be paid. So there are some examples of how challenging healthcare can be, and with AI having a better data driven solution, there's a lot of improvement that can be done there. In case of AI in Nepalको healthcare context, I think again. The foundation layer would still be data. So healthcare sector say data as a foundation layer. And my understanding is that it's still a long way to go before AI can be done on it. But that's for the operations. But when it comes to diagnosis, when it comes to more of patient care, I do see that AI can be that leapfrog moment for healthcare in Nepal as well. जस्तै अब डक्टर नभएको ठाउँमा एआई एक्सपर्ट एआई डक्टर युज गरेर इट क्यान हेल्प एज एन असिस्टेन्ट फर अ रिमोट पेसेन्ट हु क्यान नट रिच अ डक्टर होइन. त्यस्तो त्यस्तो खालको इक्जाम्पलहरू लिएर चाहिँ आई थिङ्क इट कुड बी अ लिप फ्रग मोमेन्ट फर नेपाल इफ इट इज डन राइट. नेपालको लागि चाहिँ एज आई सेड अब इफ वी स्पिक अबाउट भेरियस सेक्टर्स देयर इज नेपाल जस्तो कन्ट्रीको लागि द some of the major areas where Nepal has to actually make larger improvements would be definitely healthcare, education, अनि technology नै हो होइन मेरो विचारमा. And so, like I said, healthcare ma चाहिँ AI चाहिँ मेम्बर पेसेन्ट केयरको लागि युज गर्न सकिएला तर यदि टेक्नोलोजी or अपरेसन्सको लागि युज गर्ने हो भने चाहिँ there needs to be a heavy focus on ensuring there is a good data strategy for healthcare in AI for Nepal. अनि एजुकेसन सेक्टरमा चाहिँ there's a huge opportunity. Education and non-profit sectorमा there's a huge opportunity. That's how I see it because remote areas now where you cannot find teachers, that's where you can actually recruit AI teachers. You can create AI experts that way. Same as similarly in social sector ma pani, you know. And then in terms of data management itself too, a lot of places are there where you still have to go through dhaddas, you know, dhadda paltaera जानुपर्छ. So if you could use AI technology to convert those dhaddas into digital world seamlessly, that's a really huge opportunity to हुन्छ नि transition into a better technology space. अनि त्यसपछि अर्को banking sector ma, I think banking sector is coming really forward. Cutting edge technology or use गर्नलाई चाहिँ banking sector is forward in Nepal. So AI could be another game changer for banking, assuming that security is done right. So those are the areas. And social ma पनि अब you could create social experts that way. I think there is a lot of opportunity in legal space too. Legal ma त यहाँ मात्र होइन, US मा पनि they are starting these applications where they are creating AI legal experts. You know, you could do that here too because lawyers have to read books and books in order to and create books of documents. You know, and legislations are बनाउनु पर्छ. So I think using AI you can do that job faster and more efficiently. Definitely छ. I have always been somebody who has wanted to come back to roots. I've always been somebody who's always felt the sense of belonging whenever I come back to Nepal, and that sense of belonging I cannot find anywhere else in this world. So definitely there is that you know, a longing to come back or give back to this country. त्यो त्यस बारेमा कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब SolvDat itself as a consulting company and English Suraksha हाम्रो birthday, which is my non-profit, I do want to create its roots or in some ways here in Nepal so I can as I you know move forward in its goals. Hopefully there is a way for me to give back in a way that supports you know the growth of um, that can support the growth of individuals here who want to work in that space and that can support in some way from revenue perspective in particular to Nepal's growth. So that's how I think about it. Hopefully, if everything works out, and then we'll get to that point. कसरी सुरु भयो त्यो भन्दाखेरि पनि there have been news that have been coming every now and then about how you know kids have been impacted by bad behaviors, improper actions from their teachers, especially at schools in Kathmandu. Not just in Kathmandu. Kathmanduमा त हुन्छ भने काठमाडौँभन्दा बाहिर त कति हुन्छ होला. These things do not come recorded because of several reasons that like there's this you know strict guidelines around or strict guidance towards kids about do not talk bad about your teachers, do not talk bad about your relatives and parents. So there are various forms of abuse that have been happening, you know. So as the news came about back in 2019, I and a few group of you know like-minded friends of mine who are all happen to be women and moms. So we came together and we met in a basement of one of our friends, and we said like, let's do something about it. And so that's when we were like, okay, so we should register the organization and let's see what we can do with it. अनि त्यही सिलसिलामा I was in the US, but I also had a very good friend of mine who was here, and she is a social worker here too. So we came together, we formed this idea of you know designing this तिम्रो सुरक्षा हाम्रो कर्तव्य as a dual goal organization. One goal is to raise awareness at the grassroots level. The another is to raise awareness digitally. So we started that way. And fortunately, our friends, our network supported us with donations, and that's what we were able to mobilize here in Nepal. And my friend who lives here in Nepal, Kusum Tamang, she is a social worker as well. So she was able to mobilize her team and you know conduct those awareness programs. So that's how we have been running for about 5 years now. We plan to do a lot more in coming years as we grow. अब गाउँ-गाउँमा पुर्याउने भनेको चाहिँ हाम्रो डिजिटल मिडियाबाट नै हो. We have Facebook page and that's where we post. We have created creative infographics that talks about child safety in a language that children can understand, in a language that is not offensive to individuals. And those creatives, we've created a bunch of them and we circulate through our digital media. त्यसरी चाहिँ we have been able to reach outside of Kathmandu. Inside the Kathmandu, we have focused in more of underprivileged areas, schools, and that's where we've conducted these awareness programs. That's what we call as grassroots of level awareness, where we go to schools. Our team goes to schools, and they conduct 1 day workshop, 2 day workshop, where they where they gather the similar age group kids, usually about grade 1st to grade 5 by grouping गरिन्छ अथवा grade 6 to grade 10 मा grouping गरिन्छ हैन. And we bring teachers together, and as much as possible we try to bring parents as well. We put them together and our team gives them a presentation about what is good touch, what is bad touch, how do you spot bad behaviors, how do you spot abuse, if you spot it, how do you stop it, and if you spot it, what is the next right action to do. And we also have these counselors, child psychotherapists, who actually, if somebody comes forward saying that त्यस्तो भयो मलाई भनेर कसैले भन्यो भने they also provide some kind of counseling at the spot. And then that's how grassroots level awareness works. And then as we started work on that, we realized that there's so much gap in knowledge for teachers. Teachers have been telling us हामीले के गर्ने, कसरी कुरा गर्ने भनेर हामीसँग धेरै आउनुभयो. अनि we talked about okay, we should do a training for teachers. So that's where last year we conducted the training and we were able to train. I think I will group it in 2 or 3 different categories. एउटा चाहिँ के भने get the right education. So if you are in the engineering field, mathematics is going to be the backbone of this if you are going to be in data science or machine learning or AI. So if you want to be an expert in this space, भनेको है, then you have to focus on mathematics. Engineering is a straightforward way to get into that area because the core competences there will be mathematics and programming language. And if you are not in the engineering space, if you are in art or science or even medical space or other spaces, then I think it would be a good thing for you to start learning. If your area is not physics, mathematical background छैन भने चाहिँ AI tools through you can start exploring AI tools and see how you can leverage it in your day-to-day activities at work that you are doing. त्यो भयो हैन. अनि once you graduate or even before you graduate, try to find internships. Internships, they say it will help you shape what you'll help you understand what you want to do, where you want to do, how you want to do it, get you experienced on skills build गर्नलाई help गर्छ. There are lots of online courses as well. त्यो पनि गर्न सकिन्छ हैन. And then त्यो त अब आफ्नो self exploration अनि self growth को कुरा भयो हैन. And even if you're not in this space, I'm not saying that you cannot go and do data scientist. It's all about learning and exploring what you want to do. As I said, there are lots of online courses. So if you really want to do it, be ready to fail and fail fast. And that's how you can learn. Don't be afraid to fail. Try new things and fail. And the key is you fail fast, meaning you bhaina, okay, I'll try next. You bhaina, okay, I'll try next. But keep building on top of it. And that's how that's the key to learning anything. You can do that for, if you can do it for anything, you can do it for data science as well, or AI machine learning as well. So that's where I think you can start. And really, I think अर्को एस्पेक्ट चाहिँ म के भन्छु भन्दाखेरि as women who are restricted to households and as daughters and ladies and women and moms and grandmoms who have been positioned to strictly follow the norms of the society, I think the message needs to go out to the men of the house. In those houses where the financial dependency is on men. एन्ड सो तपाईँले मलाई वुमेनलाई के भन्नुहुन्छ भन्नुभयो होइन, यो मेसेजमा चाहिँ म के भन्छु भने म मेनलाई भन्न चाहन्छु द्याट दे निड टु इम्पावर देयर वुमेन, दे निड टु इम्पावर देयर डटर्स, दे निड टु इम्पावर देयर moms, because they should not just be confined into within the households. That's not that they should not be limited just by that. There are women who are happy and willing and satisfied being in that role, but there are lots of women who may want to get beyond that. And I think a bigger hand there comes from the men of the house, the sons of the house, husbands of the house. And this message goes out to all of them to empower the ladies of their house. Not just after they graduate, not just after they get into their next milestone, but from the moment that they encounter them, whether it's their daughter, whether it's their wife, हुन्छ नि, whether it's their aunts or sisters. So हेर्दै जाउँ अब अहिलेको लागि चाहिँ I think of life plans in 5-year spans. That's how I've always planned my life, and I've been fortunate that things have worked out as planned so far. So 5 yearsमा चाहिँ अब अहिलेको सोचाइ अनुसार चाहिँ I really want to give a shape to SolvDat and TSHK both. I want to bring them together. As an AI leader, I really am passionate about AI, but as somebody who really believes in doing something to bring about change, I believe in the cause of TSHK, and I really want to give it a shape so that it can get into the next level. And I want to get to a point where these two things are working hand in hand and bringing about better changes all over the world, more of globally. So that's my 5-year thought process in my careerको उसमा चाहिँ. अनि लाइफको कुरामा चाहिँ I think I'm very much a family oriented person, and I love my daughters, and I just think about being able to take care of them and grow them into wonderful human beings. अहिले चाहिँ हामीले small size to medium size healthcare companiesहरूसँग काम गरिरहेछौँ. And they are US-based companies. And so one of them is UST Health Proof. I'm working as Chief AI Architect for UST Health Proof, helping them build AI strategy and also AI products.